Hey, what's up, guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and it's finally time to review and discuss Batman vs. Superman. So you guys might be aware that the critics and the fans or the audience have drastically different opinions of this film. If you look at Rotten Tomatoes, which is really just an aggregate of various other reviews, it's not their rating, it's just their collection of all the other reviews. They put the critics' reviews, I think it's right now a little bit below, but it's right around 30%, which is horrible. And the fans have it right around 70%, which is basically the polar opposite of what the critics are saying. So, your question is probably, who's right? Are the fans right or are the critics right? And what I can tell you is that yes, they are both right, to a degree. I feel like a lot of the fans, although the average is pretty much accurate, a lot of the fans, if you read the comments, are probably going over the top. I'm imagining that many of them are what you may call fanboys, saying that this is a piece of cinematic mastery. Everything's fantastic. That's what most of the comments are saying. Like I said, the average review is only 70, so it's not like it's over the top. And the critics, most of them are saying that it's really, really bad, obviously. And their average is still really, really bad. So it's definitely not. Okay? I think I was right in the fact that DC and Warner shot themselves in the foot by hyping the movie up and delaying it for a whole year, raising expectations, making it even harder to meet or surpass those expectations. So people were going into it expecting wonderful things, and they didn't get them. Okay, there are some moments of brilliance, some really great parts of this movie, but as a whole, it was very heavy-handed. Now, some people will say that Zack Snyder is really good. Really, really good. And he'll tell you that. But I would argue that he's not. And he's the problem with the film. Okay? From my perspective, the director really tanked this movie. Now, that's not to say it's a bad movie, but he's the problem with it, okay? So we have a lot of really good things. Ben Affleck's Batman, bar none, by far, the best Batman on screen ever. Not even close to anybody else. Even those people that say Christian Bale was a great Batman, which I think they're nuts, but if they do say that, I would find it hard to believe that they don't think Ben Affleck's better. He makes a perfect Bruce Wayne. He made a perfect Batman. The direction for Batman was good. This is an older Batman. He's a little bit jaded now. He's a little bit more negative, and he's being a little bit more ruthless, which I personally like. The whole problem with Batman, as far as I'm concerned, throughout history, the history of Batman, was his naivete, or his unwillingness to kill people. You know, how many times has Joker killed countless people, but Batman won't put him away for good, if you know what I mean. So doing away with that has made Batman a much more practical superhero, at least in his context. Obviously, he's still not literally super. He doesn't have superpowers, but he's still above average for a hero, like a fireman or police officer. He's still a superhero. So he's not going to be fighting, like Doomsday, for instance. Not a whole lot he can do, or fighting Superman. We'll get to that. But as far as Batman goes, this is a great interpretation, a great envisioning, and it does draw from many other aspects. So the suit looks good, he looks good, everything about Batman, pretty darn good. Okay, so that's not a problem at all. That's the best part of the movie by far. We need to have a standalone Batman movie ASAP. Superman, more of what we saw last time. Basically the exact same. No real changes. He's still fairly bland as far as I'm concerned. He's all-powerful, essentially. Other than Kryptonite, there's nothing he can't do, so his fights are always uneventful, as far as I'm concerned. They're bland, because they have to fake things to make it interesting. So there's not a whole lot to say about that until we get into the whole Kryptonite Batman versus Superman thing. They do some weird things in this movie, and this goes to the heavy-handedness of it. That's a problem. For instance, they say Superman hasn't killed anybody in this one fight scene that kind of sets off the movie. And in this fight scene, he uses his super speed, super strength, and takes a regular human being, pushes him through a concrete or brick or stone wall, some kind of hard, natural-like substance, pushes him through it just like super fast, instant, just blink of an eye, gone, mushed through it, takes him away. They say he hasn't killed anybody. That would kill somebody. So it's like a lot of it was really just poor choices make him do something that's less obviously murdery, and then you don't have to say that he didn't murder the guy. You know what I mean? It was just like a lot of it was poorly executed, and that's kind of like the general gist of this whole movie. The individual things were good, just not handled well. Not handled very well at all. Some people are saying that Lex is a bad character. He's really annoying in this movie, and Jesse Eisenberg's miscast. I don't think so. I really don't. So in this premise, adult Lex Luthor, he's no longer around. He's not the bad guy. He's just a regular rich guy. Okay, and his son now has inherited everything, which is Jesse Eisenberg. And he is a little egomaniacal. He's leaning a little bit toward the bad guy spectrum. And the events that happened in the movie, him finding the way to get into the ship, the crash ship from Superman, Man of Steel, and getting the knowledge and everything just puts him over. He's definitely a bad guy at this point. He's going a little bit nuts from it. And it turns out that he has masterminded this whole thing in getting Superman and Batman to fight. He's trying to take down Superman because Superman is all-powerful, standard Lex Luthor complex, and he's trying to get Batman to do it. And so he knows their identities, and he's manipulating them to get this whole thing to play out. And it does. It works out, and that's what culminates in the Batman and Superman fight scene. Okay, so Lex finds the kryptonite, and he knows Batman's going to take it and turn it into a weapon to kill Superman, and that's what he sets up, and that's basically what happens. And he does that by taking Superman's mom and says, if you don't go kill Batman, he wants to make Superman look bad, in other words. So go kill Batman or I'm going to kill your mom. Superman says, not to him, but kind of to himself, well, I'm not going to do that. I'll go tell Batman to help me out. And if he doesn't, then I'll have to kill him because I can't let my mom die. So he goes, and Batman's not having it. Batman is at this point over Superman. He thinks it's all his fault that everything happened in Man of Steel, and he's just too strong, and it's too much of a risk to let him live, so he's going to use all the kryptonite to kill Superman. And they fight, and Batman gets his butt kicked until he uses the kryptonite, and then he kicks Superman's butt, and then it wears off, and they go back and forth twice or three times, and it's just kind of blah. It wasn't a great fight, and it was over very quickly. And how it ends is Superman says he's going to kill Martha, and that strikes a chord with Batman because his mom is also called Martha, only she's already dead. So he's like, why'd you say that name? And he's not talking. It's just a really awkward interchange. And then Lois Lane, who has an entirely too large role in this movie, comes in and says, hey, don't kill Superman. He's got his mom captive, and you can help him. And he says, okay. And then they're all friends. From that point forward, middle of him getting ready to kill Superman, it just switches completely. So again, very heavy-handed, poorly executed. Lots of little bits are good throughout, but as a whole, it just doesn't work out that well. But anyway, then they decide to work together, and then Batman has the best scene he's had in a live-action film ever. And this is the scene that's most of it is in the trailers where he's going through the floor and fighting all the goons. That is really, really well done. That is classic Batman, perfectly executed in real life. He gets shot at, he gets stabbed, he stabs people, he punches people. The only weird thing about that fight scene is that he is apparently particularly strong in that he can just throw people and punch them hard enough to make them go through the floor and things like that. In his regular suit, not in his really cool tech suit. So, again, it's poorly handled. So it's good, but there's just everything that's good is kind of offset by something that's not well done. So that's where these critics are getting their problem, I think. And that's why the fans are not having a problem, because there's still lots of good stuff in this movie. Lots of really, really good stuff. So it culminates in Lex Luthor creates Doomsday, all right? And how he does it is a little questionable, but whatever. It happens. He creates Doomsday, and Doomsday wants to kill everything, and Superman's trying to stop him, and Batman's trying to stop him, and Wonder Woman's trying to stop him. She shows up. She's been in the movie throughout, but not as Wonder Woman. They figure out who she is. She decides she needs to help. She shows up as Wonder Woman. And Gal Gadot does a really good job. I'm personally perfectly okay with her. She turned out to be just fine. I have no qualms about her playing Wonder Woman at all. So that's good. We also get some cameos that tie into her and everybody else of Aquaman and the Flash and Cyborg. Flash's cameo, pretty well done. I'm okay with that. So that's a good thing. Cyborg's is okay. It's a little questionable, but we'll see. Aquaman's was totally weird. Just awkward. whatever. This is setting up for a Justice League movie, and so they had to do it somehow, and the way they do it is okay. So you'll see when you watch the movie. It's like, I get why that's there. It kind of makes sense, but it's just kind of handled poorly again. A little clumsy. So there's that. So let's get back to Doomsday, and then I want to jump to one other thing, which ties into the very end and happens about halfway through. So Doomsday fight. He keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger as they hit him with weapons and firepower and everything. They shoot a nuke at him. Superman flies him out into space. They shoot a nuke at him. They're afraid it might kill Superman, but what choice do they have? They can't do anything else to stop Doomsday. And so that doesn't work either. It just makes him stronger, and he keeps getting more and more like the classic Doomsday with the spikes and things, but still looks kind of weird. But this fries Superman. He's out in space floating, all radiated and looking dead. But the sun comes around and gives him all of his power, and he comes back to life and comes back to fight. Yay, Superman. No problem. They realize that the only way to kill Doomsday is with the kryptonite weapon that Batman made that he never ended up using on Superman. So Superman gets it, and he's going to sacrifice himself. Even if it makes him weak and Doomsday kills him, he's going to kill Doomsday. And it works. He kills Doomsday, and Doomsday, before he dies, he has his hand cut off by Wonder Woman, which is a little weird because apparently her sword can hurt him just fine. Maybe she should have tried stabbing him in the heart rather than just cutting his hand off, and that might have worked. I mean, if she can cut his hand off, she can surely pierce his chest and kill him. So, if the only thing that can hurt him is kryptonite, but her sword works too, why did they have to use the... It was, like I said, lots of things mishandled. So anyway, he has no hand, and he's growing back the hand, but he grows back a big spike instead, which is convenient. And so then as Superman stabs him with the thing, he stabs Superman, and Superman dies. And apparently this time, the sun won't heal him. It's a little ambiguous. They don't really say anything about it, just everybody thinks he's dead, and he apparently thinks he's dead too, so he stays dead. It's a little weird, but Doomsday dies, so that's that. They did get around all of the explosions and everything like they did in Man of Steel by having them fight in an abandoned area. So lots of destruction, but nobody apparently, no casualties. So that's okay. Anyway, by the end of the very end of the movie, the very, very end of the movie, they show Superman's casket, and then they show some pebbles like float. Like, oh, I guess he's not dead, which obviously he's not dead, or they wouldn't be able to make money on Superman anymore. And we all know Superman has died by Doomsday, but then come back. So it's what you expect. You know, it's not like it's a really big reveal. Anybody that knows anything about comics or Superman know that he's not going to stay dead, because that's just not going to happen. So no big deal. But at the very end, also, we have Batman go talk to Lex in prison, and Batman's still a badass, and instead of branding him like he's been doing most of the other bad guys, he just punches a hole in the wall with his Bat logo, which is really cool. But Lex says, the bell has been rung and he's coming and he's hungry and blah, blah, blah. We don't know who he's referring to, except for the thing that I want to refer back to now. Lex is most likely referring to Darkseid, which is a really cool character, and it'll be cool if they tie him into the movie, but it presents a problem. Okay, so Lex knows about Darkseid, presumably by getting all of the information from the downed Kryptonian ship. And he says Darkseid's coming. And Batman has all these dream sequences throughout the movie, which are really poorly executed again. But this dream sequence shows him trying to stop Superman after Superman has taken control of everything. He's the guy in charge, and there are parademons flying around, and there's the big Omega logo in the ground. Big one. So clearly there's some connection to Darkseid, and Superman's the guy in charge, or maybe he's working for Darkseid. We don't know. It doesn't go into that much detail, but there are most definitely, most clearly parademons around. And then Batman wakes up from that dream to have Flash coming through a time portal telling him, oh, it's all about Lois, it's all about blah blah blah. He just keeps warning him about stuff, and he goes, maybe I'm too early, you don't know what I'm talking about yet. And then the time portal closes, and it looks like Bruce Wayne wakes up again. So the whole dream sequence thing, it's not clear. First of all, it's not clear why he would have a dream about stuff that's going to happen. Literally, it's real things. It's not just a dream that he wouldn't have any knowledge of. He's having a dream about stuff that he shouldn't know about, but clearly does somehow, so that's unclear altogether. Why does he know about parademons? Why does he see that thing? He wouldn't have any idea about it. So is he having premonitions? Nobody really knows. It's just weird. But then the whole thing with the Flash waking him up, is he waking up in his dream and then still dreaming about the Flash, but that wouldn't be something he would know about because Flash doesn't even properly exist yet. So he can't be dreaming about something that he doesn't know about. But then he maybe wakes up again. It's not clear if he wakes up or if Flash just stops the time travel thing. But then he doesn't respond to the Flash thing at all, so that makes it seem even more like it's just a dream. A secondary dream within his dream. Like I said, it's all really poorly handled. There's so many cool things. It all ties together nicely. It all works individually, but the way it's handled is just so bad. And that's where the problem with the movie is. That's why people are giving it such bad reviews. Most people like you and me are going to like it. I liked it. I think Zack Snyder ruined what was really good and turned it into just a good movie that's going to make a lot of money. You know what I mean? It's just like somebody else could have handled it with a little bit of finesse, and all of those connections that they did make would have been good connections rather than just, that makes sense, why'd that happen, but that's going to happen. It's like somebody could have done that so much better. It would have been a phenomenal movie if they had done that. So lots of good things, lots of problems throughout around those good things. And it's really slow to start, by the way. It's really slow to start, and that I think is the biggest problem with the movie. I usually go see these movies more than once. I'm not sure if I want to sit through all of that for those few glimpses of really good movie. So I don't know. I might wait. I don't know. And then the last thing I want to mention, just briefly, because this is just something I noticed. I don't know if anybody else did. I thought the score for this movie, the soundtrack, was atrocious. It was so weird and awkward in many places. It had these build-ups to nothing. It had this really intense music when not much was going on. It had this really somber music when it wasn't really somber. Then it had this weird rock, techno, trance music sometimes. It sounded like a 90s X-Men cartoon every time they showed Wonder Woman. It was just weird, really weird for me. Now, other people I talked to didn't notice that, and they said they liked it. I'm curious what you guys think. In fact, I'm curious what you guys think about all of this stuff. I kind of ran through a whole bunch of it to give you my ideas, but final review, I guess, of the movie is it was good. I liked it. A lot of things done really well, surrounded by a lot of things done really poorly, and that's where the problem is. So I'll stop rambling there. Let's talk about it in the discussion section down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll talk about this, and I'll keep doing the trailer stuff. If they do start to do trailers for single Batman movies, which I know we're a little ways off because DC can't handle making multiple movies, I'll be talking about those there, so stay tuned for all that stuff, and I guess that'll do it. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.